Whataburger Friday Night Stars, presented by Game On Sports, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, and the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. Here's Kyle Yeomans, Zach Wolchuk, Eric Chiafalo, and Heckma Harrison.
Whataburger Friday Night Stars is back from the Star in Frisco, and we've got a whole new time. 5 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock as we are live from inside the Dallas Cowboys headquarters. Kyle Yeomans alongside Heckma Harrison, the great Zach Wolchuk, and the man bun himself, Mr. Eric Chiafalo. Guys, high school football has gotten unbelievably to week 10.
Can't believe it, man.
We're in double digits now.
I know. It's crazy. This is the second to last week of the regular season, and then we hit week 11, and it's just the season's going by too quickly. I know we love the playoffs, but it's like, slow down a little bit. Let us breathe.
It's gone faster and faster every week.
Yes.
It's like
Fosky.
That's what we started with, guys. But I'm telling you, by just following the narrative, district by district, you realize that there are a lot of games tonight that are pivotal.
Big time. I mean, playoff implications galore throughout the area and the state, but we're focusing obviously on the DFW.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you look at really the playoff implications, the star-studded matchups. There are some incredible individual matchups that are on tap for tonight, week 10 of the Texas high school football season. It feels like we could have seen everything at this point, especially in the DFW area with so many teams, so many contenders, that we've seen everything we could in Texas high school football. But you and I both know that is not the truth. Something as crazy is on the horizon. Something is bound to happen that we just are not going to be able to, not only for this week, but for the final week of the regular season and then heading into playoffs. Things are going to get wild in DFW and around the state of Texas. But guys, this week, with so many of these storylines kind of rearing their head heading into this double-digit week of Texas high school football into the month of November, weather kind of cooling off a little bit. Still not that crisp November air yet, but it's coming.
I know. I can't wait for it to
You're
come.
exactly
I was calling
right.
for it. Right, Heckma? Terrible weather, which means it'll be beautiful.
It's going to rain next week.
Okay, good.
Money, thank you.
All right.
That's all we needed.
We're good to go.
We're good.
It's all good to go.
We're good. We're good to go.
But guys, what are some of the top stories that we have to look forward to heading into week number 10? Eric, I know you've got a couple of games on your mind.
Yeah, well, other than your newly grown-in beard.
Oh, Mr. Wolchuk. Heckman's even got a little bit of something going over on this side.
He rocks it.
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to grow it out, and I did it just for you.
Well, we appreciate
I thought
that.
you did it for charity.
For that, I'm doing it for charity as well.
I thought you were doing it for SWBC Mortgage.
That we could do it for them as well.
Honestly, I was going to say I thought you were doing it for
That's
Whataburger.
fine. But other than that, what are some football
Other than your
top
beard,
stories?
other than your beard, I guess the top story for me tonight is that District 668 battle with Coppell and Flower Mound. Flower Mound being sort of a Cinderella team for all of us this year. They've been incredible. Coppell, both teams 6-2. Coppell, we know is always going to be good, but this year they've been in some dogfights. They've won a couple. They've lost a couple. This one potentially going to come down to the wire. Can Caden Davis do it again?
It's going to come down to the leg of Caden?
I think it might, which bodes well for Coppell, but that's really my storyline. Can Flower Mound clinch a share of that district tonight with a win at Coppell?
Yeah, I mean that's huge. Caden Davis, of course, is one of the big things that we've talked about all season long.
Here, we love Caden Davis.
Caden Davis. We need, if there's some person that we need to get on the show at some point before the end of the season,
It's Caden Davis.
I don't know if Coppell. I don't know how far they go in the playoffs or where they end up there. But if they end up losing out
let's talk to
early,
Luke. We've got Luke Trujillo. He's
Yep.
at the Coppell game.
Yeah.
If he kicks a game winner, Luke, you got one job.
Yep.
Get Caden Davis on the phone.
Bring the legend on the show.
That's a huge thing. That's a big thing. And of course, we're starting at a different time. We're going. This is something I probably should have talked about earlier. But 5 to 7, and then from 9 to 11. So we're a little bit different this week. We're also live on Facebook and on Twitter, so it's easier access for you guys to be able to get a hold of us. And we're glad you're with us. But we're going to be back on from 9 to 11 to give that kind of wrap-up scoreboard show type of feel with all the final scores, highlights, interviews, etc. throughout the entire area. But right now we're doing some previews and those top stories. Zach, I know other than Caden Davis, you have your eye on some Raiders and Denton Ryan Raiders.
I do. I'm really excited. We got Denton Ryan and Grapevine tonight in a big district matchup. Both teams have already punched their ticket to the playoffs, but guys, we've been talking all year long about that Ryan defense and the struggles that they've had on the offensive side of the ball, but now they're finally playing a Grapevine offense that might be able to challenge them, might be able to put up some points. We'll see how good Ryan's defense really is. And if Grapevine does find success on offense and they all of a sudden turn this game into a shootout, can Ryan score with the Mustangs? I think that's a fascinating matchup to trail because, look, Grapevine's not completely out of the playoff picture in terms of a district title. Ryan, obviously, they have their 2 toughest district games this week against Grapevine and the next week against Birdville, who is Grapevine's 1 loss. So those 3 a top-heavy district, but those are some really, really good trio of teams.
Yeah, and you look at really the way that Grapevine was able to kind of take care of Colleyville Heritage last week. That was an impressive win.
Very impressive, yeah.
And then now they turn around and they get back home, but now they've got to face up
It's a tough challenge, man.
with Denton Ryan. That's kind of what that district's been this year. It's been team after team, week after week. You've got a challenge heading your way, and I'm excited to see if Ryan will even be tested. We saw earlier in the season they kind of struggled to get off the ground offensively. Maybe those struggles kind of come back against that Grapevine defense, and we'll see exactly what's able to happen here. You take a look at the District 4 5A standings. Of course, Denton Ryan, Birdville right up at the top. Birdville has a tough test today against Colleyville Heritage, which we'll keep a close eye on as well. But really, from the top 4 to the bottom 4, there's a huge gap in between. But you look at Grapevine, Denton Ryan, this could be a game, if Birdville stumbles, that Grapevine could kind of not separate themselves, but really set themselves up for a good run at maybe trying to get a share of that 4-5A title.
No doubt. But selfishly, I'm hoping Ryan pulls this one out. Birdville and Ryan set up for an undefeated district championship game next Friday night. I think would be outstanding.
Fireworks.
That would be wild.
Oh, that might even be a Thursday night matchup. There's a lot of good Thursday games next week, which is crazy. I think DeSoto Cedar Hill is also on Thursday night.
Is it really?
Yeah. Thursday night is a big schedule next week.
DeSoto had a big win last night. We'll talk about that coming up in the next segment as well. But overall, you look at some of these teams that throughout that district, Birdville, kind of a surprise. We didn't necessarily think about Birdville. We
Not
thought
anymore.
maybe Colleyville Heritage was the favorite other than Denton Ryan in that district. And Birdville's really proven themselves. They have enough tests. Another good test today against Colleyville Heritage. But if they can push through that, then it's Denton Ryan. Oh, man, that's going to be fun.
And that is a Thursday night game, by the way.
That's going to be so fun. So we'll have some highlights from that next week as well. Heckma, what are you looking forward to today?
I tell you what, guys, these guys at Denton Geyer is, man, this is we sort of crowned them.
I love that you're going here.
Yeah, we've crowned them, Denton Geyer, on this show. I mean, Eli Stowers, Kedrick Cobbs, they are our favorite. We've saw them grow from the adversity with the loss to the Dragons of Southlake, but this team has roared back. They have won all of their games, and they are definitely mowing teams down. Now, I picked this as an interest for me because last year you were talking about it. Trophy Club Byron Nelson did beat Geyer. So you look for a young team like Geyer. Will they come in and take care of business, or will they have that in the back of their mind about being beat? And because they're a young team, play undisciplined and have some of those things that costly that turn, cause losses.
Revenge game, boys.
No doubt.
Right?
And I'll tell you what, Coach Walsh, even though Eli Stowers was not there for that loss, Coach John Walsh has preached all week long. Not only was that an upset loss at home in the first round of the playoffs to Byron Nelson, it also was the only loss Geyer's ever had to a Northwest ISD football team. Eric, I know you're very familiar with Northwest ISD, having played at Northwest.
Yeah, very familiar with losing to Geyer.
Yes, that was the first loss they've ever had against Northwest ISD. Walsh is upset. Geyer's going to go ahead and inflict some pain.
And Geyer's that team. I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You carry that out, buddy.
But Geyer is that team that right now is going into the playoffs with all of the momentum, just from not only offense with Kedrick Cobb, but their defense is also doing a great job closing out games, and also obviously ball control, not having any turnovers. Stowers proved last week from some of the mistakes that he's made that he can play error-free football.
Yeah, the steady improvement of Eli Stowers as well. That whole team is just hitting their stride right now.
And Kyle, if I might slip one more storyline while we're talking about the Denton schools, this is the first time in Denton Braswell's history they've got a meaningful game in November. They win out. They win this tonight against Lake Dallas, a big game. It's an elimination game for both schools. They both have to win out to make it in. If they beat Lake Dallas tonight and they win next week, they'll make the playoffs for the first time in school history. For Coach Cody Moore and that Braswell Bengal group, this is some big-time football they haven't seen before. It's always fun when you see these new young programs. We've seen a lot of these Frisco schools, Independence, Reedy, Lone Star. They've gone from new to all of a sudden state powers. Braswell's on their way. If they can go ahead and upset a Lake Dallas team that a lot of people penciled into the playoffs in the preseason.
Depperschmidt.
Yeah.
It's a tough guy to stop.
Depperschmidt's been struggling.
Yeah.
And Braswell's coming off their most complete game of the season last week against Princeton. So that's fun to monitor as well.
Yeah, Braswell, of course. When did they start football? Was that 2016?
This is their third year.
Yeah, so 2016 was their first season, so it's crazy to see that they could maybe make it into playoffs, and we'll talk about that if that does happen. But we're going to take a quick break. Before we do want to give you a quick little weather update, and there's not a whole lot to update. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you, Heckma.
Appreciate it.
Beautiful outside, 71 degrees, no chance of rain. It's supposed to drop to around 59 when some of these games will be going final. So
beautiful.
A little bit of a crisp in the air. But Whataburger Friday Night Stars will continue in just a little bit.
With the most destinations of any airline in the world, American brings you closer to your next trip, wherever it is on the map. So, get ready to explore some new points of interest. The most destinations of any airline in the world. That's American Airlines. Pins not included.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a Forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State!
Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
In a world where a young family embarks on an incredible journey, a son gets lost in an epic film. A father wills his team to victory, while a mother tries to talk to her daughter, who is posting online at a rate she has never seen. Until now. With high-speed Wi-Fi, free live TV and movies, there's something for everyone. Download the American app, and the best in entertainment travels with you.
Oh, the beautiful Star in Frisco. 5 Lombardi trophies, of course, the property of the Dallas Cowboys.
Going
Their
for
headquarters.
6.
Yeah, you try it? You going to make a prediction here or no?
No, that's not this kind of show.
That's fair. Our predictions will come up later, right around 6:50 or so, leading into kickoffs of Texas high school football. Glad you're with us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars, Week 10 edition here from the Star in Frisco. Guys, let's get into some of those Thursday finals. We had a couple great games last night, or great matchups, so what it seemed like going into it, but it turns out some of these games ended up in blowout fashion. Let's start things off with Arlington and Arlington Sam Houston. Arlington, of course, and the Colts, really a team that we talked about throughout the course of the season. Jahari Rogers was a story point for the Arlington Colts, and last night they were able to get the job done. 45-16 was that final score.
Yeah, Jahari Rogers didn't have to do much last night because B.J. Rogers went to work. I mean, you're talking about big playability. The kid had 9 carries, but 125 yards. So everything that he was rattling off was 10, 15 yards at a time. Look, the Colts are for real, fellas. 9-0. They have got to be reckoned with. Sam Houston had no answers for these guys last night. 31 points in the first quarter. All right? I mean, they ghost them right from the top. And look, the Colts defense pinned their ears back and came after Sam Houston in the second half, guys. So, look, it's all about the Arlington Colts, and last night's victory was just some more of their dominance.
The Rogers brothers, huh?
Yeah. Own it.
Well, Jahari's up for Player of the Year, no doubt about it. We need to put some respect on that man's name. We've been talking about it. Putting up video game-like numbers was really held in check, though, last night on the ground. Yeah. He took care of business, but it really was BJ. I mean, BJ just crushed it. And this was a game they got up so big. You know, you look at the elite programs, and Arlington is one this year having that season. You got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, and they took care of Sam Houston last night, and that sets up, at least for Arlington, a share of the district title, and they can win it outright by beating Lamar next week.
Yeah, that's another Thursday night game that we're going to keep our eye on. But one of the more impressive things about this win for Arlington and the Colts, 2 touchdowns in the first 2 minutes of the game. They didn't just put up 31 points in that first quarter, so they ended up doing it over the course of the first quarter, but they came out of the gate early and put it on Sam Houston.
Special teams wise last night, and I mean, the Colts had a commanding lead, and one of those highlights you saw last night, they did an onside kick last night. Just rubbing it in, and that ought to tell you the rivalry between these two teams, but they were all over special teams. I mean, literally in all phases of the game, the Colts were clicking on all cylinders.
Coach Peach is just holding no punches, huh, boys?
Yeah, holding no punches at all. And
sold all the peaches.
And we had Mallory Hartley at the game last night, and she got a chance to catch up with one of our show favorites, Jahari Rogers, after the win.
Put up 45 points just in the first half. What was y'all's mindset going into this game tonight?
I mean, we had a really good week of practice, and we knew if we'd have won this game, we'd have a home game during playoffs, and that's really big for us. And so we just came out here, tried to be dominant, and we really just took over in the first half.
With just playoffs just around the corner, what is something that you and your offense have to work on in order to be successful?
I mean, we're doing really good at everything. So, I mean, it's just really the sharpness, timing, and everything we have to work on. But we're really just balling, honestly.
Thank you, Jahari. Good luck in playoffs.
Oh, I love it. Oh, just balling. Oh, he knows it.
I guess the best way I can explain it is just
you got to have
we're
that
balling.
kind of swagger, right? And I think the rest of the team's taking note.
Couldn't have said it any
confident.
better myself, Jahari. Wow.
Just balling. Just balling. And I highly doubt that Coach Peach had that same type of reaction to the win, but Mallory did get a chance to catch up with Coach Peach as well.
Now 9-0 for the first time since 1988. What has been the real spark in your team this season?
Well, first of all, it is an awesome culture right now. We've got a great coaching staff. We've got a great group of kids. They really love each other. And so with that being said, we felt last year when we went 10-3, went 3 rounds deep in the playoffs, that we had a good thing going. But it's just kind of piggybacked off of that. And, we're really good at all 3 phases of the game right now, which, not every football team does that, and that's what we do.
What has been the main difference between your team this year and your team last year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is experience. We have a lot of kids back from last year's football team. We've got a lot of talent. It's fun to have talent, and so we've got a lot of young men that just are athletic. We got good size. We kind of had to find our identity the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season and find out who we were. Even though last year's team, a lot of them were back, it's still a different team. But after we kind of found out who we were and settled in, we've been really, really good over the past 5 or 6 weeks.
You guys take on the 9-0 Lamar Vikings next week. What are some things that you guys need to work on going into next week to be successful?
Well, the first thing is we've got to keep getting better. The reality is that Lamar High School has a fantastic football team. We've watched them on film quite a bit, and we play all 3 phases well with offense, defense, and special teams. So do they. We're both 9-0 for a reason, and so it's going to be an epic battle. I think that if you ever love sports, especially this game, you want to play in this football game. You want to coach in this game. This is what you work your whole career for as a player, as a coach. And so I played at Lamar High School. I've coached Arden High for 16 years. There's a lot of memories involved with my dad, who's no longer with us. And so when you go into this old rivalry that I'm used to, it's the way it's supposed to be at UTA Thursday night.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats on your win.
Thank you so much.
Big win for Arlington last night, 9-0, 5-0 in district play, and what a matchup that's going to set up next week.
I don't know how Coach Peach just gets more and more likable every time
really
we have him on the show. I mean, he's just
a likable guy.
Really like him, really happy for that team, man. That's going to be a really fun game next week.
Oh, yeah. Mallory's already saying Lamar's going to beat Bowie tonight at 9-0 to set up a battle unbeaten. So, and that's clearly an emotional game for Coach Peach, having played at Lamar. He knows the magnitude of that rivalry. That's going to be a great game in the season finale.
Really excited about that. A couple big-time Thursday matchups next week, and we'll bring it to you here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Moving on to the next game, though, DeSoto, South Grand Prairie. This was a game a lot of people had circled last night as like the Thursday game of the week type of thing. Well, it didn't turn out that way. DeSoto manhandles South Grand Prairie 51-7, and we had the hardest working woman in all of sport, Ashley Pickle, on the scene for this game, and she got a chance to catch up with DeSoto head coach Mike Robinson after the win.
All right, I'm here with Coach Michael Robinson, the head coach of DeSoto. Coach, unbelievable second half, completely shut them out. The offense scored an unbelievable amount of points. What did you say to your team at halftime to get them to come out and play like they did?
Well, once again, like last week, we just said we need to execute. We started off, had a quick start in the first half, first quarter, put up 17 points, and then we just kind of, got out of rhythm. Penalties, turnovers, and we just said, if we can eliminate the mistakes, don't beat ourselves, come out, execute the game plan, then, the results will, the score will speak for itself, and luckily it worked out for us.
Big game next week, a rivalry game going in with Cedar Hill, who's also tied for, if they win tomorrow, tied for first in the district. What do you tell your team going into practice next week?
I don't think I have to tell them anything. These kids know each other. They've been playing ball against each other and with each other since they were 5 and 6 years old. They know what's at stake. It's a lot of bragging rights, playoff seeding on the line. So you don't have to say anything to anyone in DeSoto about playing Cedar Hill.
And then unbelievable group of seniors. You're playing at home next week. What are you going to tell those guys going into the game?
Hey, go out in style. Go out in style. That's what we need to do, is go out in style. That's all I can say, and make it a memorable one.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. Go enjoy with your team.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Going out in style. Going out in style. That's what they did last night. 413 yards of total offense, and really DeSoto put it on them from the beginning, up 37-7 at halftime. And this was a dominant football game from the Eagles, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game that was 17-7 at half, like you said, Kyle, and DeSoto was up. But in the second half, the Eagles poured it on. I mean, they outgained SGP 237 yards to 68. They scored on their first 5 drives of the second half. Quarterback Shindarian Ward did his thing, 234 total yards, 3 touchdowns. But I think what was awesome is in the opening drive, DeSoto set the tone of this football game. It was 4th and 1. They go for it, and Shindarian Ward goes ahead and runs for a 52-yard touchdown run. So DeSoto was off and running after that. They beat a pretty good SGP team in the District of Doom. They now sit currently alone atop District 7-6A. That will obviously change based on what happens tonight, but it sets up, most likely, we keep saying this, a district title game next week against Cedar Hill if Cedar Hill can take care of business tonight. And that might be the best rivalry in DFW football. Over the last couple of years, with Cedar Hill winning state championships, with DeSoto being really, they've got a state championship to their credit as well, but being in the hunt, just getting knocked out by Allen seemingly every year, that is going to be an absolute war next week between Cedar Hill and DeSoto.
Coach Robinson hit the nail right on the head when he said, I don't have to tell my team anything. All these guys have been playing against each other. It's a rivalry game. When you say the District of Death, all of these kids have gone to middle school together, elementary school together, so they know each other very well. But just going back to the game last night, Ward was money. I mean, he literally was passing the ball to anybody that had on a green jersey last night, and he was making it count for the Eagles. Now, the other thing about it was the Eagles' defense showed up.
Yeah,
They've had some lit downs in the season where some of the losses that they had were just last minute, literally, they just let the ball get by them.
That Laker
game. Only game they lost.
That's the one. I mean, like I said, that's the one game if they wish they could have that play back. But they have got the momentum going for them at the right time. Next week, like you said, man.
Kudos to Coach Robinson, man. His first year with the team, they had a lot of shaky stuff going on with that coaching position. He has righted the ship there his first year, taking DeSoto back to the playoffs where they belong.
Go out in style. That's his message
no
to
doubt.
his team.
That's and on the
fantastic.
counter, for SGP, now they need some help. It was a big loss for them. They were sitting there right in the muck of things in 7-6A. They're going to need some help if they want to get in.
And they had a good start to the season district-wise, but now it's 2 straight weeks where they lost to Cedar Hill last week, lost to DeSoto this week. Of course, it's the District of Death for a reason, District of Doom, whatever you want to call it. And they've kind of lived that SGP has over the past couple of weeks. So just kind of a tough break for the Warriors there. Moving on to District 6A, how about Flower Mound Marcus and Irving MacArthur? This is a game last night where really either one of these teams could have come out on top. MacArthur really the underdog, and then, of course, Marcus was coming off of that loss with Flower Mound last week. Marcus kind of fixed some things, didn't they?
Yeah, they bounced back for sure, and they keep their playoff hopes alive, so credit to them. They come out with a 34-17 victory, and they were down 10-0 really to start the second quarter, and then they have a second quarter eruption of offense, 24 points thanks to Marcel Brooks. He had a pair of touchdown runs, one of which was like 35 yards right down the sideline. Beautiful. That dude, I mean, they got him running the ball, catching the ball, tackling the ball. He's doing everything for them. Marcel Brooks is the man, but the guy of the night was running back Tyson Edwards for Flower Mound Marcus. This dude put the nail in the coffin with an 8-yard touchdown run with 8 minutes left in the game. He finished the game with over 200 yards rushing and that touchdown that really sealed the game. And Marcus's defense was stellar. They come out of the game with a fumble that kind of got him off. You know, that's what really put him down 10-0 early in that game. But then offensively, man, they just came out going crazy, and their defense stepped up. That Irving MacArthur defense is good, but we know their offense has struggled, and Marcus's defense really played well. And I want to shout out linebacker for Flower Mound Marcus, Sean Watson. This dude stripped the ball, took it 67 yards to the house. I remember a play whenever I was in high school. I stripped the ball. I took it about 48 yards and didn't score. I got tackled. I think it was a lineman that chased me.
You live with that play. It's in your mind.
One chance. One shining moment.
And so I just wanted to shout out Sean Watson. He pulled it off. He capitalized on his one shining moment. I did not.
Way to go, Sean Watson.
Wow.
Way to
I'm
go,
glad we were able to
Marcus.
relive this.
That's one you don't bring up if you didn't score, brother. You
No,
just
I know.
Keep
I was
that one
just-
to yourself.
Hey, I want to tell you guys that, look, MacArthur, God bless him, them, man, because they have all the talent in the world. Even on the offensive side of the ball, they just can't find anyone to get the ball to their skill guys.
Yeah,
period.
that quarterback's been an issue for them, and it is because defensively, like they came out and played well. They got up 10-0 in this game. They were driving. That fumble return for a touchdown that you're talking about for Marcus really was a turning point in this football game. But 100% right, Heckma. I mean, there is some talent on that offensive side of the ball. Definitely a defensive-led group, but they just have been so inconsistent. A lot like that Fossil Ridge team in Keller.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We'll actually go to that Keller Fossil Ridge game here in just a minute. But one thing real quickly, Flower Mound Marcus needs a little bit of help. They're 3-3 in district. They'll go into that final week. Right now they're sitting at the 5 spot. If Hebron loses tonight, they'll both be tied for that 4th spot. But heading into that final week of the season, Flower Mound Marcus may not make the playoffs out of District 6.
They have a matchup with Louisville. And right now Louisville has a chance. You know, them and Flower Mound, the top 2 teams in that district. And who would have thunk that, man? I mean, we've been talking about that every week, but the darlings in this district, Louisville. No doubt. And Flower Mound, 2 teams that probably were not predicted to make the playoffs, but are sitting pretty in that district right now.
Yeah, 2 teams that we could maybe look at and say Louisville underdog at the start of the season. Coppell, we kind of expected Coppell to be what they are, and they've got a big matchup tonight against Flower Mound, top 2 teams in that District 6A. And this was a jumble just a couple weeks ago, and it's starting to kind of filter itself out a little bit.
And I want to give some credit to Marcus because they were coming off a beatdown last week of Flower Mound. That's a rivalry game. They get showed up, and then they're down 10-0 early in this game. They could have easily folded, throw in the towel, our season's pretty much done. Nope, they storm back, 24 points in the second quarter. They get the victory, and now their playoff hopes are still alive. And that's all you can ask for when you come down the last couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. One more quick game before we go to that Fossil Ridge Keller game. Frisco Liberty and Frisco Lone Star. This is a game that we kind of expected the outcome in this one. Frisco Liberty, of course, coming in 4-1 in district play. Lone Star was 4-1 in district play. Liberty, on the other hand, 0-5.
Yeah.
So we kind of saw this one coming, and the defense from Frisco Lone Star, one of the best in the entire 5A ranks, and they definitely held true last night.
Yeah, no doubt. They got going early, man, with 2 back-to-back interceptions to open the game. Blake Gotcher and Jalen Ford for that awesome Lone Star defense.
That's your defense setting the tone, right? Just a couple of pick sixes. That makes it a lot easier on Julian Larry.
They weren't pick sixes. They were just interceptions, but they did lead to touchdowns. Gotcha. And it was 3 opening drive touchdowns for that Lone Star offense. Julian Larry rushed for 3 touchdowns, threw for another, over 200 yards combined, rushing and throwing. I mean, that's just it was a dominant defensive effort. Complimentary football. Offense scores and capitalizes on the turnovers. This thing was over by halftime, boys.
Now, Eric, I'll tell you now, the thing to look at is Julian Larry. We said about 5 weeks ago that he was going to be the person, that he was going to be the player that Lone Star needed on offense to kind of get things going.
Yep.
We already know what they have on defense. We know they're stingy. They're not going to give up anything. All right? But if you get these guys a 3-point lead, they'll win it.
Yep.
Okay. You give them more, they'll win it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, we talk a lot about Julian Larry. We talked a lot about Darren Smith, but it's Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims is the X factor on that offense. If Mims is having a successful night, you can bet Lone Star's offenses. He helps out Julian Larry immensely.
Yeah, no question. That's his favorite target. And Larry can take all the help he can get going down the field because right now he's doing a lot of his production on the ground, which is good, but got to be able to throw it.
Yeah, definitely so. And I'm actually kind of impressed that Liberty was able to put up 342 yards against that defense. Now, the points didn't come, only 9 points on the board, but the fact that they almost touched 350 yards against that stout type of defense shows that Liberty's making a couple improvements.
Great point by you. Great point.
Yeah, definitely so. Moving on from there, though, Fossil Ridge and Keller. This was the matchup that we were all looking forward to heading into last night. Which team was really going to distance themselves a little bit in District 5, 6A, who was going to go to the playoffs and who was not, is kind of what we were kind of looking at here. And going into this game, did we see one favorite here maybe?
Yeah, Keller.
Yeah.
Keller as the favorite, and they definitely took advantage. We're taking a look at some of the highlights, but on the phone right now, we got head coach Carl Strelo from Keller as they win 22-14. Coach, first off, thanks for joining us here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars. And Coach, tell us about that win last night and what made that really the offense so successful despite a couple of the turnovers.
Well, in the first half, we had so many turnovers and long punt returns, long kickoff returns against us that we very easily could have been down 35-7 to some of the field position. The defense played as well as they played all year and maybe in several years last evening. and kept us in it. And at halftime, our kids were really upset. We're down 14-7, and I shared with them, it could be a lot worse. You are one possession away from being in tying this game, and we need to settle down and go take care of that. And so they did, and we ended up getting an interception return for a touchdown, which was timely, and completed a 2-point conversion to take a 15-14 lead, and then stopped them. They turned it over on downs, driving to score, and then our back broke loose for a 63-yard run. Neshobo broke up on a 63-yard round, which didn't ice it, but it gave us an 8-point lead, and the game was exciting right down at the end. They turned it over on downs on the 10-yard line in a one-possession game. So it's what rivalry playoff games are. I mean, playoff implication games are supposed to be like. They're all the way to the bitter end, and we're real fortunate to get out of there.
Hey, Coach, this is Heckma Harrison here. Thank you for calling the show. Big win yesterday, but I got to ask you about your defense and the performance that they put up. Obviously, with the 5 turnovers on offense, didn't put them at an advantage on defense, but they definitely pulled through for you last night.
Well, we don't have any offense-defense problems at our place. We know the week before we gave up 34 on defense, and the offense bailed us out. We are a team-first mentality, and I tell the kids, you can't complain about playing time and playing too much all in one game. So if we're going to go out there and do our jobs on defense under any circumstances that come to us and keep them out of the end zone or hold them to field goals. And kids have really bought into that, and they play for one another, and it's led to our success.
Coach Zach Wolchuk with you. I just want to say again, congratulations on making the playoffs and a big win last night. When the realignment came out, this was a very, very competitive district, and obviously your 2 losses to South Lake Carroll and to Denton Guyer. I'm interested to hear what are some of the things that you were able to learn as a team and grow from those 2 defeats that you can carry over into the playoffs when you're playing against elite competition like that every week.
Well, we were picked 7th in that district, and there were 7 playoff teams in that district from last year. And so we knew it was going to be a dogfight, and we're going to have to play our best football. We entered District 3-0 and hadn't really had a really close test. We separated quite a bit in those games. And our first hit of adversity was against Carroll. And we talked after the game that learning how to deal with adversity and persevere is how you win games like that. And we learned a lot that night. We played Guyer. We had 3 turnovers in 3 different facets of the game in the first half, and had it within 1 score late. And our kids know we have a good football team, but if you want to be an elite football team and play a long time in the playoffs, those are the kind of games you have to win. And hopefully we've learned from the things we learned in those games were that you'll be around at the end, competing your tail off if you're giving great effort and execution throughout the night. So hopefully those things have resonated because sure showed up last evening.
Coach, I want to go back to last night in the third quarter. You mentioned going for 2 when you were down 14-7. You get the touchdown. You could tie it with the extra point, go 14-14. You guys decide to go for 2. You get it. You go up 1. What's the philosophy there? Is that something you guys implemented most of the season? Or in terms of the aggression, is that just confidence you have in your offense? Or coming into the game, was this just something you saw for this particular game but maybe not moving forward?
Somewhere between we practice our 2-point plays probably more than we practice our PAT, that I'm crazy, and that it was after an interception return, which anytime you get a non-planned touchdown, nobody wants to give up a touchdown, but when you get one in the return game, fumble or interception, and we had a play that we liked and strike now, and we figured we were going to have to score again to win the game anyway, so if it was 14-13, let's just keep playing, but I'm sure there were some people wondering if I'd lost my mind.
Man, I love it. I love your kind of crazy, Coach. Congrats, man.
Yes, sir.
Coach Carl Strawwell, head football coach for Keller. Congratulations on the win last night. Good luck in playoffs now as you've locked that up, and we'll talk to you again soon, Coach.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
All right, there he goes. And a big win last night for Keller in a rivalry game. That's always fun. Crosstown rivalry, Fossil Ridge, Keller. Keller, of course, that original high school, kind of taking on the new guys a little bit. And I know Fossil Ridge is not a new school by any means, but newer than Keller, and they were able to get the win 22-14 in the Indians go into the playoffs. One more game from Thursday night that we're going to touch on, 41-21, Rockwall and the Orange Jackets, as Eric so lovingly calls Rockwall, over the Mesquite Skeeters, 41-21, and another big game from Jacob Clark, 215 yards, 16 for 21 passing, and 3 touchdowns as Rockwall and that offense just keep on humming.
Yeah, they really did. And look, I mean, Rockwall, a team that came in 7-2, they have now clinched a playoffs. But both these teams are in. I mean, Mesquite and Rockwall are both in. But this really kind of came without a reach in a 4-minute span to open the second half. Rockwall scored 20 points. So this was a tight one, and then they went ahead and said, coming out of halftime, guys, we're putting the foot on the gas pedal. Bye-bye. Like you said, Kyle, Jacob Clark doing his thing, 3 touchdowns, 215 yards. And really, I mean, this one was tied at 14, and then here comes Jacob Clark, a 13-yard touchdown pass to Zach Henry in the second quarter. Mesquite then drives right down the field all the way to the Rockwall 4-yard line, and they get a sack.
Wow.
As time expires, so no points at all. I think the Yellow Jackets, or as Eric would say, the Orange Jackets, were able to take a lot of confidence into the locker room. They clearly built off that with those 20 points in 4 minutes. But for Mesquite, I mean, they still are a good football team. Running back Ladarius Turner had an outstanding game, his 5th 100 rushing yard game of the season, and Dylan McGill at quarterback for them, 258 total yards and a pair of touchdowns as well. So Rockwall, look, at home, they're tough to beat. They've got a crazy offensive attack. They're one of the best in the state. One of their only losses coming to Longview, a team that's ranked within the 6A, and clearly the best team in that district. But this is a Rockwall team, both these teams, Mesquite and Rockwall, battle-tested within their district. It'll be fun to watch them moving forward into the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to watch. And some of the other games that we haven't hit highlighted-wise, but were final scores from last night. Carter 35-0 over Pinkston. Then we had Justin Northwest. How about Northwest? You want to see the Texans score last night, Eric? Did you see it at all?
Oh, yeah. Well, wasn't it like 60-0 or something
71-0
Holy
over
smokes.
Fort Worth Carter Riverside. Jeez. That was that final score last night. We talked about Frisco Lone Star 35-9 over Liberty. Garland Naaman Forest gets another win, baby.
Awesome.
They're
36-7
gonna end
over
up in the
Garland.
playoffs.
Happy life, Heckma.
Yes, they're going to end up in the playoffs.
Kennedale 52, Fort Worth Benbrook 14.
District championship game there for Kennedale.
Yeah, Kennedale. That's a pretty good football team there. Carrollton Ranchview 56-0 over North Dallas. Richardson Berkner falls to Skyline 42-14, and then Seagoville 49-0 over Thomas Jefferson. That Seagoville team, they're pretty scrappy as well, as we go through some of those Thursday final scores. When we come back here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars, we'll look through a couple of our highlighted games throughout Week 10 of the Texas high school football season. We'll also give each one of our rivalries of the week a little bit of a new segment here on Whataburger Friday Night Stars when we return from the Star in Frisco.
Nothing works up my thirst for an ice-cold Pepsi Cola like getting buckets. Whether I'm breaking ankles or breaking hearts.
Hey, Drew.
It always brings the refreshment, and I've been drinking it a long time.
Drew, how old are you anyway, man?
Doesn't matter. Uncle Drew, in theaters, June 29th. Future tastes good.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're a base 4-3 cover 2, and I'm an
aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it, but we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State! Yes! In your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Oh, looky there. The inside of the Dallas Cowboys locker room as they prepare to take on the Tennessee Titans this Monday Night Football here in Dallas.
You got a fresh new toy in Amari Cooper. We just saw him walking down the halls.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just walking around.
Very, very quiet guy, just jamming out, listening to music, just self-spoken in reflection. Tried to get him on, but he was in the zone. I wasn't going to bother him.
That's okay.
He did say he loved the show, though.
Oh, he's a fan of the show.
Big fan of the show. Said good luck, guys.
Unbelievable.
Well, there you go. Did you ask him about how his Raiders did last night?
I didn't bring up the Raiders. He's
They're
now a Dallas
no
Cowboy.
longer his.
We're on to Tennessee.
Right. Good answer, boys. Good answer. All right, guys. We're on not only to Tennessee, but we're on to Friday Night Football. How about some of the previews throughout the DFW in Week 10? It's crazy to believe it. We've already gone through the fact that it's already Week 10. But how about one of the other things that is hard to believe? Wilmer Hutchins. What a story this is. Well, they've got a district championship potentially on the line versus Alvarado today. This game at Wilmer Hutchins. We've got Jackson Dunovant. We'll talk to him later on from this game. But on paper, these two teams look pretty even, Zach. Is this a game that Wilmer Hutchins can keep the storybook going?
Yeah, this is for the district championship in 8-4A Division I. And we got to give some credit here. Chris Beam lets me know, hey, this is a district championship game. This Alvarado team, who I'd kind of overlooked, all of a sudden they started 0-4. They've won 4 in a row. They're playing really good football. We need to talk about this one. So this is the Beam special here, Alvarado and Wilmer Hutchins. Alvarado unbeaten in district play, like we talked about, at that 4-0 mark. They've blown out everyone they've played. They're coming off a big win over Hillcrest where they put up 71 points. Their quarterback, Josh Cyrus, over 700 yards, 11 touchdowns, but he's been really smart with the football. Only 2 interceptions. They have a very balanced attack with running back Andrew Barajas, who's also got over almost 1,300 yards rushing, averaging 10 yards a tote, 19 touchdowns. They've got a pair of other backs that can come in and fill the void as well. They're a run-heavy team, so they're going to test that Wilmer Hutchins defense. But we talked about it last week. Wilmer Hutchins, all about Kyle Douglas Jr. at quarterback, 21 touchdowns, 2 INTs, just under 1,900 yards passing. He's got a great connection with his wide receiver, Kendall Gilmore, on the outside.
Yeah.
I just think the magical storybook season for Wilmer Hutchins in this one should continue. But, people overlook this Alvarado squad, and since district play has started, they have looked nearly unstoppable. This is going to be a tight one, but I think Wilmer Hutchins is the better football team and should come away with the victory.
Yeah, the problem for Alvarado is the strength of their team is running the ball. The strength of Wilmer Hutchins' defense is
Stopping
their
the
run
run.
defense. So it's going to be one of those things where, for me, once I looked at this game, I said, look, Douglas Jr. is going to have a field day with this Alvarado Indians defense. And Wilmer Hutchins is definitely having a dream season, and they deserved it after all the years of just being at the bottom of their district. 7-1, they look to go into the playoffs.
District champions, man.
Yeah.
District champions for
Steamrolling.
Wilmer Hutchins. I mean, that's a big deal for that program.
You can't help but root for him. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't pulling for him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and they're at home, Eagle Stadium, a chance to
We're
clinch
just totally unbiased, though, but go Wilmer Hutchins.
Absolutely. But yeah, Wilmer all the way.
Oh man, what a story that would be. So moving on from from this 4A Eagles squad to how about maybe the best 4A Eagles squad in all of Texas. Argyle and the Eagles have won 8 straight. Now they match up with Anna, who started 4-1 to the season, looked like a team to be reckoned with, but has just been shut down. They have not scored a point in their last 3 games. They were shut out by Paris 27-0, shut out by Melissa 47-0, and then shut out by Salina 42-0. Now that's a murderer's row of that district, back to back to back.
Doesn't get any easier.
No, they're playing the best team in the district tonight.
It actually gets harder.
And that's a reason why it says 17 points per game right there, because they haven't scored in a month. But if they're going to have to do it, they're going to have to do it today. 1-3 in district. They're sitting in 5th place inside that district standing right now, and they're going to have to figure some things out. But on the Argyle side of things, 505 yards of total offense per game. That's going to be a tough Eagle squad to watch. I kind of expect Argyle to roll here a little bit, boys. Do you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Tito Bice show on the ground and Bo Hogaboom through the air. Argyle is poised for a state championship.
What a duo.
Yeah, it's an unstoppable
Bo and
duo.
Tito.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why they're 8-0, looking to try and win another state championship. How about Colleyville Heritage and Birdville? District 4, 5A Division 1. This is a matchup. We talked about it earlier. Colleyville Heritage going into the season real hyped up. Birdville was kind of
excited.
Birdville was kind of under the radar. Tell us about this, Heckma. Is there a chance for Colleyville Heritage here?
No. But the thing about it is, guys, I will
huh?
tell you this. Look, here's the thing. I said this 6 weeks ago, guys. Birdville has something to say. I even came to you, Chuck, and I said circle it on your calendar because I know you're high on Denton Ryan. Mm-hmm. You did color for him. There's some relationship there with that team.
Sure.
Same with me with Colleyville.
Sure.
But look,
It's emotional, guys.
It is. Football is an emotional sport, but the 8-0 Hawks are the real deal. And this couldn't be a worse week for Colleyville guys to have a victory because Birdville isn't playing. And I got one name for you. Ladarius Mixon.
Okay.
Ladarius Mixon.
Ladarius.
Look, Chuck, I call him the waiter. You want to know why I call him the waiter?
Why? Because you got nicknames for everything. And
I'm going to tell you, he's the guy that's bringing extra butter for your toast, right? This guy is putting
He's my favorite guy at the restaurant.
I'm telling he's your guy, all right? Ladarius Mixon is a big play machine, all right? He is the one guy that when you see him on film and he's in open field, 2 words, he gone. All right? This kid is flying everywhere he's going. I can't even imagine him walking to class in the hallways, all right? That's how fast this kid is moving. But the one thing about the Colleyville Heritage defense, even when they get together and stop Ladarius Mixon, they got a bigger problem. Another guy.
You're kidding. It doesn't get bigger than Ladarius.
Stone Earl.
No
Yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah.
Stone Earl.
One of the best names in Texas high school football.
It gets better. And I call Stone Earl the chef. You want to know why?
Oh,
Why? Because he's
man.
cooking everything up in the kitchen.
He gonna serve it when it's ready.
Yeah.
He gonna serve it. I'm telling you guys, this
Yes.
game tonight is the real deal.
So many restaurant metaphors. I
But
love
Hey,
it.
look,
well,
guys.
it's a buffet of information
Oh, my
from
goodness,
Heckma
let's stop
all
it.
I'm saying,
Oh,
all
man,
I'm saying, guys, is that it doesn't get any bigger than this tonight. Look, Coach Joe Willis is going to have his guys primed and ready
Friend
to
of the
go.
show. Love you, Coach.
Hey,
it's almost a must-win for them, I feel.
It is a must-win. There is no other term to be used in this game for Colleyville. And I know that Coach Joe Willis is going to have them coached up. They have beaten Birdville literally every year. I don't remember a Birdville victory ever versus Colleyville. But tonight is a little different.
Especially if they don't have Cam Brown.
Yeah, that's also
And if they don't have Cam Brown, we don't know his status. We know he was in a boot last week.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like you're going to be playing the next Friday. I'm not going to make assumptions, but if he's out of the game, I mean, that gives your offense almost no chance if you're Heritage.
However, even with all of the downright just bad luck for Colleyville Heritage, if they end up beating Birdville or if Carrollton Newman Smith gets a win over Denton
they
tonight,
can still get in.
They'll be clinching a playoff.
So I mean, it's
tonight.
not a must-win, but for me, it's really just kind of a psyche and a mentality, right?
It is.
Like they've fallen to the big dogs in this district so far. They got whooped up by Grapevine last week in a rivalry game. Denton Ryan, we know about that. So Birdville, to me, I mean, this is a team you talked about. They've never beaten Colleyville Heritage. At least they haven't in recent memory. They've taken their lumps. They played a lot of sophomores last year. They're seasoned. They've got a lot of juniors wrecking the ship right now, and they are playing very, very well. That's what's scary, is because this Birdville Hawks team, junior ridden, and this junior class is special. Next year they will be legit as well, but this year they're making some noise, undefeated, and we're just hoping. Heckman and I have crossed our fingers. They win tonight. Ryan wins tonight. You have an undefeated district championship showdown next week.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun between Birdville and how about
Let's
Denton
party,
Ryan?
baby.
Let's go ahead and keep it with that district 4-5A. How about Denton Ryan and Grapevine? Denton Ryan, of course, undefeated on the season, and you look at Grapevine coming off that big win against Colleyville Heritage. Zach, is there any chance here that Denton Ryan could be in trouble on the road? I know it's at South Lake Dragon Stadium, but still, Grapevine's going to have that home field there.
Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, 2 top 10 teams within the area. Grapevine still has a really good offense with Cade Rhodes at quarterback. He's passed for almost 2,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. And they've got a linebacker in Timothy Drysdale who's been outstanding. I mean, last week he had a pick 6 and a fumble return for a touchdown against Colleyville Heritage.
He's a touchdown returning machine.
It's crazy. I mean, he's scoring. And you've got both of those ways. You know, you got Billy Bowman Jr. for Denton Ryan, who's also scoring a bunch of defensive touchdowns. Special teams-wise, they've scored. So this is the question. I mean, we know about that Ryan defense. You know Grapevine's got the offense. How does that matchup unfold? And if Grapevine does put up some points against Ryan, can that Raider offense, led by Ian Hennigan and Amani Bailey on the ground, Seth Hennigan's getting the start tonight, his best thing, he's kind of been like an Alex Smith, like a Dak Prescott, just kind of going ahead, don't turn the football over, make the plays when they come to you. But you know for Ryan, they want to run the football with Amani Bailey. They want to play stout defense. They just find a way to win any way they can. I expect them to get the job done tonight, but I am fascinated to see how this Grapevine offense performs.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Hennigan brothers are going to have to form Voltron tonight. Maybe to put both of them together because they're going to have
stack
to
them up on the shoulders there. I like that.
You're going to put these guys together because they're going to have to do something besides just be bus drivers. You know, basically what you were alluding to. They're going to have to make some plays, especially when you get against that elite competition, which Grapevine is.
Yeah.
And
2 playoff teams.
2 playoff teams and a district really showdown tonight. Rhodes is that guy. However, Denton Ryan's defense is that defense. They are really, really, really good when you start looking at some of the guys that they have on that side of the ball. So this is going to be a good
we
one.
talk about 3 phases of the game. Denton Ryan, we know about their defense.
That's
their special teams as well.
Billy Bowman Jr. again comes into play there. I mean, Ryan has absolutely whipped up on this district so far. They've outscored their district opponents 280-65 at this point, but they do have their 2 toughest opponents to end the season tonight with Grapevine and next
Drew
week.
Sanders will have something good
Difference
to
maker.
happen
Yeah.
in this ball game.
So from one crazy district in the 5A ranks, let's go to 6A real quickly. 6A to be exact. Flower Mound and Coppell. These are the top 2 teams in that district right now. Flower Mound 5-0 in district play. Had the big win last week over Flower Mound Marcus, and then the Cardiac Cowboys, baby. Who brings this one out? Because if Coppell wins, then they've got to share the district title really out in front of them heading into next week.
Yeah, no, this is a massive game. Both teams coming in at 6-2. Flower Mound coming off a dominant victory over Marcus last week. And like you mentioned, the Cardiac Cowboys, these guys have been in dogfights all season. They've won some, they've lost some. But Flower Mound, man, they come in They're plus 131 in point differential. They haven't only been winning this season, but they've been winning convincingly. And they're two studs offensively. We know about their quarterback, Blake Short. Only a junior. This dude, 2,000 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 61% completion. He's thrown for over 300 yards each of the last 2 games. And you didn't think he could get any better. And then these last 2 games, he comes out and he just shows out even more. Offensively as well, the running back. This dude is a stud. Again, another junior. So both of these guys, Flower Mound's got good things coming back next year. Pierce Hudgens at running back, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 yards a pop when he gets the ball. And this offense puts up 40 points a game, almost 500 yards a game. I mean, that's a 1-2 punch right there with Short being able to throw the ball. And Hudgens, man, Hudgens is a tough guy to stop. Coppell's going to have their hands full. And they're 1 game back from Marcus right now. Carnegula at quarterback, he's starting to come into his own offensively. I mean, 4 touchdown passes last week, but he's going to have to really play lights out if he's going to be able to keep up with not only Short, but Hudgens and that Flower Mound offense. That's just a lot to ask. And then you know about Ryan Hurt. He's their workhorse. He's the guy they got to get the ball to. 800 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, 6 yards a carry for Coppell. Ryan Hurt's their guy. Again, he's going to have to do quite a bit today offensively. I think the game plan, if you're Flower Mound, you want to force the ball into Carnegula's hands, make him beat you through the air. And game plan for Coppell, first and foremost, you got to stop Hudgens, because if this dude gets going, then it's just going to open up everything for Short. But then if you can get 4, and we know Coppell, that front 4 is pretty solid. If they can get pressure with 4, get Short off his spot, out of the pocket, because he doesn't really want to run the ball.
Yeah,
then,
they need something from Jonathan McGill tonight, too.
No question.
McGill, not only on the defensive end, but I think they get him more involved on offense.
Yeah, McGill's going to have – yeah, that's a great point, because if Flower Mound can bottle up Hurt, which we've seen teams do, then where do you go? And McGill's certainly a guy that you want to turn to if you're Coppell. But, again, if this thing comes down to the wire, maybe a last-second kick, advantage –
Caden Davis.
Caden Davis. And guys, the thing about the Cardiac Cowboys, and we call them that because they have been in every game that they've played this year.
Yeah.
And even with the quarterback being inept and some of the things that they haven't been able to get done, still they have been right there in every game. Flower Mound, however, is a different beast altogether. They win in every phase of the game, but also they play error-free football.
Yeah.
And so what Short does, he doesn't turn the ball over. What their running back does, he doesn't fumble the ball. So what do you do? And that's one of the things that the Cowboys are definitely going to have to just have their specialty on trying to stop that Flower Mound offense. That's the only key to victory they have.
And that's a great point by you. They take care of the football, and a very well-coached team. All 3 phases of the game, like you mentioned, Heckma. Flower Mound is really, really good. Coppell's just hoping to keep this thing close. And then at the end, we've seen wild things happen. Coppell can pull it out, at home. They got a shot, but this is going to be a tough one.
And we've seen crazy games happen in Coppell. Saxey, week
all
1 of the season. It's
Exactly.
happened. That was at Coppell at Buddy Eccles Field. So going on from there, let's go to Frisco Centennial, Frisco Wakeland. This one happening just across the tollway from us at Toyota Stadium, home to FC Dallas. And tonight it's home to 2 teams that are struggling in the middle of District 5-5A. Centennial, 4-4 overall, 3-2 in district. Wakeland, 4-4 overall, 2-3 in district play. You look at the numbers, Wakeland, Centennial, very even here. And whoever wins is going to be in 4th place in that district, because Independence is in 3rd right now. Lone Star and the Colony have already clinched playoff spots. So this is crucial for either one of these teams, because right now one is on the bubble, or they're both on the bubble, but one is in, one is out at the end of the day. And that's going to be a wild game to look at. We've got Adrian Jagish live from Toyota Stadium, and we'll check in with him throughout the night starting at 9 o'clock in overtime. But moving on from that, let's go to Hebron and Louisville. Back to that District 6-6A that we were just talking about, where Coppell, Flower Mound are involved. Marcus is in there as well. But Hebron and Louisville, 2 of the teams that we kind of looked at throughout the course of the season, Heckma, that Louisville's been the surprising, really the darling of District 6-6A, whereas Hebron's kind of been the dog that's been there for a while.
Yeah, well, Louisville started out as the Cinderella because they didn't have any wins. They looked really ugly. People were counting them out, and then 6 wins later, here we are. But again, guys, 6-2 for the Fighting Farmers, 5-3 for the Hebron Hawks. this is a must-win game for both of these teams. With the logjam that they have at the top, the top three teams, it looks as though Louisville can pull this out. But again, they have to win this game to even be in contention to stay with Flower Mound in this.
Yeah, well, so whoever wins this game is in. This is a game for both teams. They win, they're in the playoffs, and for Louisville, it's been defense. The Fighting Farmer defense has been one of the best in 6A all year long, without a doubt. That's the reason they're up top in this district. And, for Hebron with Trajan Bridges, how does Louisville slow down Trajan Bridges, Isaiah Bradford, their freshman running back, or Isaiah Broadway, their freshman running back. Hebron's got some playmakers, but Louisville right now, man, I mean, their defense, if it weren't for Flower Mound and how good they've been, if Louisville would be the story, I think, of the DFW area this year.
I definitely think so. But one of the crazy things about District 6A, it's a slim possibility, but there's a possibility for a four-way tie for second place.
It
would be between
I don't even want to hear about this.
It's Coppell, Louisville, Hebron, Flower Mound Marcus. Flower Mound would be at the top.
Do we get a coin toss?
No. It would be Coppell, Louisville, Flower Mound Marcus would be tied on the points tiebreaker. That's how they would be decided and who's going to playoffs.
Like most points scored?
Yes, or like points differential.
Oh, points
differential is what would be the deciding factor there, which is absolutely wild.
I want a play-in game there. Why can't we just get a one-game playoff?
Well, then you'd have to play 6 games.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
these kids can do it. They're young. They're fresh. Their bodies recover.
Whatever. So I give you the gift of a potential 4-way second place tiebreaker. I'm going to give you one more game before we take a quick 3-minute break to reset for hour number 2. But how about points? I'm going to give you a lot of points in this matchup. Lovejoy and Denison. District 7, 5A, these two teams are right in the top of that playoff mix in Lovejoy and Denison. Lovejoy 6-1 overall, 5-1 in district play. Their only loss was to Frisco Reedy, 51-0, might I add, to the 9-0 Frisco Reedy team. And then Denison, who was 5-3 overall, but 4-2 in district play. Both of these teams average over 42 points per game.
Jeez.
On average.
It's a track meet.
Lovejoy averages 417 points per game, and Denison has 291. That's going to be a wild shootout of a game, and I'm excited to see that one taking place tonight as well. Both teams have won 2 straight games, and both teams have lost to Reedy so far on the season.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, exactly. Who hasn't? 9-0 Reedy team. We'll talk about them later on as well.
Foskey.
He's the man.
I've lost to Reedy. We've all lost to Reedy at least once this year.
Josh Foskey's got
Raise your hand if you've been victimized by Reedy. Yep. All right, there it is. All right. Moving on into hour number 2 of Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We'll preview some more matchups throughout the DFW area. We're glad you're with us live from the Star in Frisco, Week 10 of Whataburger Friday Night Stars. We'll be back in a moment.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app, and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
In a world where a young family embarks on an incredible journey, a son gets lost in an epic film. A father wheels his team to victory, while a mother tries to talk to her daughter, who is posting online at a rate she has never seen until now. With high-speed Wi-Fi, free live TV and movies, there's something for everyone. Download the American app, and the best in entertainment travels with you.
Some of the greats throughout the Star in Frisco, all the team pictures from Dallas Cowboys organizational history.
Oh, the triplets.
Displayed. Oh, that was what a great time that was.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. I was barely alive.
I was too. I was alive.
How old were you with the last Super Bowl?
In 95, I was 4.
You want to hear another one? I wasn't born yet.
Kyle was -1.
I was -6 months old.
I was 2.
Yep. So glad we got that out of the way. Welcome back to Whataburger Friday Night Stars, everybody. Just by the way, we're talking high school football here from the Star in Frisco. Just happens to be where we're looking at some of the team pictures of the Dallas Cowboys. But, guys, we got some matchups that we still got to get through here in hour number 2. Kyle Yeomans, Heckma Harrison, Zach Wolchuk, and Eric Chiafalo along with us. And, Eric, I know you've been keeping your eye on this North Garland-Wiley game.
Oh,
this is a game.
I don't think I've ever seen you be more excited than this
Yeah,
one.
you were really pumped about
Well, when you
this.
talk about big games, you're talking about North Garland at Wiley.
Yes.
And
District 10, 6A, baby.
Absolutely. 5-3 North Garland, 3-5 Wiley. And North Garland's an experienced bunch, man. They come back this year with 15 of 22 starters returning. 8 on offense, 7 on defense, and 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. And that's where this team really wins.
Yeah.
These guys are veterans. These guys paved the way for junior running back Sabron Woods. This dude's got 700 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's 7 yards a carry, and he's really the focal point of their offense. Now, their senior quarterback, Peyton Farrington, he's been a little inconsistent, only completing 42% of his passes, 8 touchdowns to 6 picks on the year. Not the ratio you're dying for.
No.
So running the ball is key for North Garland, and Woods is a great guy to give the ball to, and that offensive line is fantastic. Now, both teams struggle to score the ball, 25, 26 points a game. Offensively for Wiley, their senior quarterback, Rashad Dixon, he's sort of Mr. Do-It-All for them. He runs the ball. He's a dual-threat guy. Run the ball, throw the ball, 1,700 yards combined and 21 touchdowns combined. Yeah. So this dude's really doing everything for them offensively, through the air, running the ball. His favorite target is stud wide receiver. You guys know this name, Mr. Donovan Ollie, 6'4", 210 pounds. Now, him and Rashad Dixon last year had great chemistry together. They put up a bunch of numbers. This year, maybe not quite the numbers we expected from each of these two guys, but still solid numbers. Ollie, 500 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. The problem, again, for both of these two teams is the struggling to score.
Yeah.
And North Garland's defense is pretty good, and I would say they're probably the defense that can step up, make enough plays, and if Garland can get going running the ball with Woods, I think they can control this game.
Well, so you think North Garland's going to win?
I got Garland. Yeah, I got North Garland. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Everybody is covering Wiley, receiver, as soon as he gets off the bus.
Oh, yeah.
They are on him because he's literally all they have besides Dixon.
Yeah.
But the confusing thing about Wiley is the fact that after a 50-7 victory versus Garland, they come back and they beat Garland Lakeview Centennial, and then they get the upset of their lifetime in beating Rowlett. and they come back and lay an egg versus Naaman Forest.
They're just very up
You
and down.
have to ask yourself,
Hit or miss, baby.
who are the Wiley Pirates? They have got to show up tonight because they're going to be tested by North Garland. It's a district game. Everybody knows who they want to get the ball to. The defense is going to be all over.
And who's got most on the line tonight? It's North Garland. I think they come out with a chip on their shoulder, ready to go get the victory behind Woods in that offensive line.
Wiley's going to have to play really well in this game to win against North Garland. North Garland's no slouch, despite what the record may say. And if Wiley's not careful, they'll end up with another district loss. Now, I tweeted this out earlier on the Friday Night Stars account, Friday_Stars. If you're watching us live on Twitter, thank you for joining us. If you're just now hearing of this, follow us as well. But 9-6A has a trio of games this week that really have some playoff implications, and one of which is Plano and McKinney Boyd is what we're going to start things off with. And Zach, as a Plano grad, they've gotten 2 wins in a row, and McKinney Boyd has lost 2 games in a row. However, on paper right now, you look at this, and Plano could really make some noise in this district and find a way into the playoffs if McKinney Boyd loses in this game and Jesuit beats McKinney, then all of a sudden your Wildcats are playoff bound, buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that Plano, after that loss to Allen that they had, and then the upsetting loss to McKinney, all of a sudden they're back in this thing. I mean,
But do you believe, Walchuk?
Do you believe,
Do you
Walchuk?
believe? That's the question.
That's
You
a
don't
good
seem very
question.
confident, brother.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
know
be
what?
honest.
Because I've learned, like with Plano, you never quite know what you're gonna get in that box of chocolates. Like no one really thought they'd beat Plano East. They came out, they dominated last week against Jesuit. I thought that was going to be a challenging game for them. They came out, they dominated. They've been able to get big plays on their offense, and they're utilizing Kyron Cumbie. Every single skill set in the book. Kyron Cumbie is no longer just a running back. He is the team's leading receiver. They're lining him up in the slot a lot. He's getting mismatches on linebackers for teams that don't want to come out and play a nickel or a dime. That is a matchup nightmare. So for Plano, I got to tip the cap. They've done some nice things with their coaching staff, being able to utilize the talent that they have. And their defense has stepped up. They forced a lot of turnovers against Plano East. But this is a Boyd team that's physical. They want to run the football. This is going to be a physical district game. I think it's going to be pretty close, but Plano should win. They're the better team in this one.
Yeah, Kyron Cumbie, again, Plano finally got it. Like, he's the best that we have. Let's put this kid in every
Put the ball in his hands.
Yeah, just give him the ball. Wildcat, however we got to get Kyron Cumbie the ball, let's get him the ball. He's our playmaker. You've seen them do that over the last couple of weeks, and they pulled out some games. It shouldn't stop tonight. If they want to make way and they want to get into the playoffs, they're going to have to ride the back of Kyron Cumbie.
Yes, 100%.
And Zach, you also are keeping a close eye on Plano East and Plano West. Of course, another Plano v. Plano matchup. And Plano East coming off the loss last week. Plano West has not won a district game so far, but Plano East can knock off a playoff berth this week if they beat Plano West. Jesuit beats McKinney, and Plano beats McKinney Boyd.
That's a lot of if, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs, but I think those things are all very likely to happen for East. So, Plano wins, they're in good shape if East wins. But for East, they've been really playing with fire. After that loss to Allen, they've been a shell of themselves. Their defense has given up, nearly 800 yards in the last 2 games. They've turned the ball over 9 times in their last 3 games, which includes that loss to Allen after they started the season 5-0, and they only had 5 total turnovers in those first 5 games. So they need to just get back to running the football. They've got to give the ball to Trey Scott Jones, and they're playing against the Plano West team that they should absolutely dominate and blow out. West hasn't won a game. They're looking at back-to-back 0-10 seasons. They've played up and been competitive this year. They've got some weapons down the field. Noah Scroggins is a solid player. Danny Davis has just turned the ball over way too much at quarterback. So a rivalry game between East and West. You can throw the records out the window, but East is the far superior football team, and they should take care of business, even though it took them double overtime to beat McKinney last week, another team that on paper you'd think they'd run away with.
Yeah. Is this one of those rivalry games? Do we have a fun name for this?
There's no name for this one.
Dang,
no name for this one.
There needs to be a name.
It's a nameless rivalry.
I mean, you could just do East versus West. I mean,
it is East versus West.
Well, guys, I got to
but
say this about this game. Plano East is a very athletic team.
Yeah.
You look across 11-11, they have an athlete at every position. Look, Brandon Mallory has played lights out for East. He has had a spectacular season. He should continue. I don't see why they shouldn't win this game, but they have been known to come into a game and lay a complete egg. I don't know if it's coaching or if it's just the fact that guys are just saying, look, we're just not into it, what it is, but Plano East desperately needs this victory.
I think this is a get-well game for East, so they should come out and really go ahead and pour it on the Wolves tonight.
And before we get into the best matchup of District 9 6A, how about Jesuit, a team that we kind of looked at heading into the season as a potential team to not only make the playoffs, but to
investment.
It was a bad investment. Bad prediction on our side and really the entire DFW side. But today, Jesuit can be eliminated from the playoffs unless, and you talked about a lot of ifs, Heckma. How about these ifs? Jesuit is eliminated unless Jesuit beats McKinney, which is kind of likely, and Plano East loses to Plano West, and Plano loses to McKinney Boyd. If that scenario does not work out, the Jesuit Rangers are eliminated from playoff contention.
I think they're eliminated.
Not looking good, boys.
Not looking good at all.
McKinney's playing good football. That's not a guaranteed win, and I don't think both Plano and Plano East lose tonight.
The only team that has clinched a playoff berth in this district, of course, is the Allen Eagles, and they've got a pretty tough test tonight. Prosper at home. Now, once again, I don't know if Allen even owns buses at this point, because it seems like they're always at home playing at Eagle Stadium, and they welcome in Prosper on the other side. First matchup between these two teams since district alignment happened. 9-6A. This is the best of the best in this district, guys.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those welcome to 6A football for Prosper. You know, these two schools have not played since 1969. I know Brian Sutcliffe, who calls into the show for the Prosper Eagles, and that Prosper side, they're feeling confident. They think that they can go ahead and go in and compete against Allen. They really, really think that. And it's because they've got Wayne Anderson, who's been awesome at running back. He leads the district in rushing. And they've got a big, strong, physical offensive line, probably the best offensive line that Allen has played.
Yeah.
But it ain't happening, man.
Right.
You're not going to Eagle Stadium and beating Grant Tisdale, Theo Weiss, Keldon Manning, and the Allen Eagles. And if there's one chance that Prosper has,
what is that?
Allen has been held scoreless for the first quarter of each of the last two games. If Prosper can come out, utilize an Allen slow start,
maybe they'll
take
only
the lead,
lose by 100.
Maybe they can hang into the football game. But I think that's something Coach Terry Gamble has preached to the Allen Eagles. Guys, we've got one weakness. It's slow starts. It ends tonight. I think they jump all over Prosper, and this one's over by halftime.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be very close. And we kind of thought maybe Plano
so
East,
because Prosper is 7-1.
They're good.
They're clearing away a far and away the second best team in this district.
It's not an indictment on them at all.
No,
this is just Allen's
Prosper's
greatness.
a good team.
Yes,
Allen's just ridiculously good.
Let's just put all the kids to bed on this one, guys, because we know it. And Mike Tyson said it best: everyone has a plan until they get hit. Right?
And they've never been hit by a team like this.
Never been. And this is the thing. I think we talked to one of their play-by-play guys earlier.
Yes, Brian Sutcliffe.
And he said it easy. He's like, hey, we're looking forward to playing Allen. We're putting our team on the map, this program and everything that we're doing. We're looking forward to that game. And I think we all collectively said to ourselves,
LOL.
Okay,
Well, that'll be fun.
That will be fun.
Well, I know a team on the east side of Plano that was saying the exact same thing just a couple of weeks ago, and that sent their season spiraling down a little bit. So,
well, let's move on from District 9 6A. We'll talk about that plenty in Friday Night Stars overtime coming up at 9 o'clock. But how about 10 6A again? Rowlett, Garland, Lakeview, Centennial. Rowlett, this is a team, Heckma, I know you mentioned earlier today, still sitting at 4-1. That only loss was to Wiley. They sit atop District 10 6A and can wrap up some playoff positioning here.
Yeah, Rowlett is that team that you're trying to figure out who they are. I mean, the loss to Wiley kind of set them back, but they came back and they got back down to business. The disappointing loss again was something that definitely you have to look at. But Chase Tupel, as my man Chuck told me, that's how you pronounce his name, has definitely helped these guys with his, get his team swagger back, because last week they put it on the Garland Owls. But again, Garland Lakeview Centennial is going to be trying to run behind their Mr. Do-It-Everything, and his name is Kamar Wheaton. But Mr. Wheaton is going to have a big-time problem tonight because the Eagles' defense, these guys are stingy, and they are upset still about losing that game to Wiley. So they're playing with emphasis and extra motivation tonight.
And you look at really District 10 6A, and it's pretty much locked up at this point, and you really Rowlett's the team to beat there. And hopefully,
well, guess what? Naaman Forest is making the playoffs tonight with a Rowlett victory over Lakeview Centennial.
And that's amazing.
It is mind-blowing.
That is incredible. That is incredible to see them.
Eric, in overtime, if that stands, might owe Naaman Forest an apology.
We might have to give a single cam apology with Eric Chiafalo.
Well, they were starting out, 0-5?
Yeah, they weren't very good.
Couldn't score, save their lives.
Well, let's go from that one into really one of the best games of the entire week. How about South Lake Carroll, Northwest Eaton? Eaton fighting for some playoff spots right here. Nobody can clinch a playoff spot today in District 5 6A, but South Lake Carroll, Denton Geyer, and Keller have already clinched a playoff spot. Eaton is in the 5 spot right now, trying to catch Fossil Ridge, who is 3-3 in district play, and they've got a tough task today against TJ McDaniel, Coach Dodge, and those Dragons guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough one for Eaton. I honestly think this is one of those games where South Lake comes out fast and puts it on Eaton and really just takes the life out of them before they can even really get going. South Lake's 151 plus 151 point differential on the season. They've been playing really, really well, and they're almost unsung. You don't even really hear much about South Lake. You know, they're kind of, as weird as to say, under the radar a little bit. And you got a coach like Riley Dodge in his first year
at 29 years old.
29 years old, step in there. 8-0, and they've seen some adversity. I mean, we've seen some of their tight games. The Geyer one really sticks out. I mean, they've had some fun ones this year, and now they get to close the season out tonight, or last week against Central, tonight against Eaton, and next week against Timber Creek. That's 3 pretty favorable matchups to close your season if you're South Lake. And this one, I just think it's going to be done probably by halftime. I think there's just too much offense for South Lake. The dual threat capabilities of Will Bowers. Don't even need to mention TJ McDaniel, who leads the entire area in scoring, and he's probably going to find pay dirt at least twice tonight. So, and again, Eaton offensively, without Titus Swen, basically all they have is running back Dawson Pell, who's a heck of a player, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. But this South Lake defense is way too good. If we only need to take one guy away for the South Lake defense, they're going to be able to do that no problem. I think South Lake runs away with this one.
Yeah. Eaton is, and the thing about this game, and you say over with by halftime, I doubt it, because the Dragons play so slow in the first half. So they
have been known to do that, no question.
Yeah. So I think if what Coach Dodge should be concentrating on is getting his offense started in the first half, fast start,
yep.
Because that's the thing that's going to help them, especially going into the playoffs. All teams that have clinched and going in, that's what they're concentrating on, because look, man, everybody knows that football is all about strategy, and you cannot get off to a slow start in playoff football.
Yeah, by no means. And a team that kind of got off to a slow start this season, how about Frisco Independence? And they've kind of worked their way back into that 5-5A matchup. The Colony, of course, the team that knocked off Frisco Lone Star on that hook and ladder at Toyota Stadium. Well, these two teams match up tonight at Frisco ISD Memorial Stadium. And this is another good matchup between a team where we kind of got to see him firsthand last week, Zach Wolchuk, in the Star. But the Colony, on the other hand, nobody can slow down this offense.
No, and right now Mikey Harrington is red hot, and Jaden Abdallah is sizzling. You know, the Cougars are pretty much, man, can pretty much punch their own ticket right now. But there is a logjam in that 6-5A division, so the Colony isn't safe by a long shot. They have to win this game.
Yeah, and it's critical for Independence. I just don't think they've got the defense to be able to slow down Miles Price and that Colony offense.
Independence trying to stay really afloat in that district. They're sitting in that 3rd spot, so they're in as of the moment, but trying to lock up some playoff positioning tonight. And then one final game before we get to our players to watch in our prediction segment. Guys, John Tyler, and Mesquite Poteet. Who thought we would be talking about this game?
Not me.
In District 7, 5A. But Eric, I know you're really excited to see what the Pirates have against the Lions tonight.
Yeah, man. 5-2, John Tyler, 7-1, Mesquite Poteet. One of those fun teams. Poteet, another one of those little bit surprises here coming out, playing really well.
Not a surprise at all.
Just like South Lake. I'm kidding. Just like South Lake, 151 point differential for them, man. They've just been dominating this year. The best player on the field, we already know his name. It's Mr. Seth McGowan. This dude needs a huge game, and guess what? Last week, he had a huge game. 237 yards, 2 touchdowns against West Mesquite. He's got 1,100 yards on the season, 16 touchdowns. The dude runs it at 8 yards a carry, and he is just golly, he's a really tough guy to stop. Both teams 4-0 in district play, and John Tyler has only been giving up less than 16 points per game during district play.
Yeah, which is crazy because they were able to answer that McKinney North offense that was racking off all kinds of historic numbers. They held them to 25 points in a win last week.
Yeah, so I mean, this John Tyler defense is playing really, really well. They missed the playoffs last year for the first time in 9 years. They're trying to get back to that this year. Their running game is what they depend on offensively. Roderick Hawkins, and I think they need to give him the ball more. I mean, this dude's averaging 8 yards a carry, much like McGowan, but Hawkins only has 55 carries on the season. I think they need to get this guy much more involved. But that John Tyler defense is nothing to fool with. McGowan's going to need to have a big game. The good news is if anybody needs to do it, if anybody can do it, he's the guy.
Yeah, definitely so. And you look at what Mesquite Poteet or John Tyler, at that case, winner wins a co-share, at least a share of that district title.
Yep.
If you get a win tonight, so
it's really
it should be
a huge game. But people don't pay attention to John Tyler, but that is maybe one of the biggest games of the night.
And sort of an unsung hero for Mesquite Poteet. I don't think he gets enough love as their senior quarterback, Dalton Dale.
Yes.
I mean, McGowan gets all the love, and rightfully so. But I mean, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 picks, 63% completion, and he's rushed for 4 touchdowns. So I mean, this dude's been quietly a really steady, solid quarterback, and that's nice when you know you got the stud running back in McGowan.
And Eric, I want to tell you, you made a really good point about the running back from John Tyler.
Jeez, that's a first. You made a great point.
Appreciate that.
No, I mean,
listen, when you swing
awesome.
as much as I do, you're bound to hit something.
True. You just did. I mean, because Hawkins is amazing.
Well, there you go. I thought he was going to continue on with your point, but
you
that was
said
it.
wrap it up.
Hey,
I'm wrapping it up.
That's it. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we've got 3 players to watch, and we've got 6 pick'em games. And we're going to give you all of that coming up on the other side of the break. Taking a quick break here from Frisco, Texas, and the Star in Frisco. This is Whataburger Friday Night Stars Week 10 edition.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is my all-time favorite.
I love this burger. It's just perfect.
2 beef patties, 2 different types of cheese, caramelized onions. My favorite thing about this burger is the sweet and spicy pepper sauce and the bacon. You get it in every bite.
Nothing beats this.
The sweet and spicy bacon burger is an all-time favorite at Whataburger.
That's happiness.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
On a forbidden Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
Ramon, we can't.
But Julia,
We're rivals.
I can love you and still hate your overrated school.
We have 2 different defensive philosophies. You're You're a base for a 3 cover 2, and I'm an
Aggressive 3-4 with press coverage. I get it. But we both love Dr. Pepper.
Oh, Ramon.
Touchdown, State!
Yes! Into your face!
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Hey football fans, check this out. It's called FanTag, the easiest way to get video highlights from all of your games. As a parent, I know the value of capturing our kids' special moments on video. FanTag makes it easy to relive a memory or share it with family, friends, and recruiters. Download the FanTag app and on game day, find your event and get instant highlights delivered right to your phone. So never miss a moment. Try FanTag today. It's free.
This is Academy Sports and Outdoors. We offer a huge sports and outdoors selection of top name brand gear like you've never seen. All at low prices like you've never seen. Because we're a sports and outdoor store like you've never seen. Visit us in store or at academy.com for the guaranteed lowest prices. Academy Sports and Outdoors, for all for less.
In a world where a young family embarks on an incredible journey, a son gets lost in an epic film. A father wills his team to victory, while a mother tries to talk to her daughter, who is posting online at a rate she has never seen until now. With high-speed Wi-Fi, free live TV and movies, there's something for everyone. Download the American app, and the best in entertainment travels with you.
We're just over 20 minutes away from kickoff around Friday Night Stars in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's a quick look at Buddy Echols Field in Coppell, Texas. That's a monumental matchup between Coppell and Flower Mound tonight. And then look at Lancaster trying to be the first team in Texas high school football to win in Highlander that's not named the Highland Park Scots in a little over a decade. Well, they're looking icy in the all-white.
2 decades, man. It's been 20 bleeping years.
It's been a long time. And how about this? The Lancaster band. Look at them marching in. Woo, we're getting hyped.
Yeah. Hashtag Battle of the Bands, baby.
Taking
over Highlander.
There's no battle when you come into the stadium like that, man. It's over with.
How about those hats? You think we could get a hold of some of those hats?
Moves?
Yeah, the moves are pretty nice, too,
I
man.
bet Paige Norbach could grab one of those hats for us.
If we could end the show with some of those hats on, I would be a very happy human
That'd
being.
be fantastic.
Well, that's just a little bit of the atmosphere that's about to happen throughout Texas high school football, and we'll definitely keep a close eye on the drum line, the bands.
You can feel the energy from here, though, from the stadium. Though. Like these games getting ready to kick off. It's exciting.
I love it, guys. I love this. I love this. The
All
new
right, guys.
time, the 5 to a 7. I love the new time, guys.
Yeah, new time, baby. Yeah, we're leading into kickoffs here for Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Just a reminder, we will pick back up at 9 o'clock, and we'll give you all the scores you need to know from around the DFW area. And highlights, and interviews, and call-in. So a lot of fun yet to be had here on Week 10 of Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Guys, let's take a look at some of these players to watch pretty quickly here. We got about 20 minutes left. Players to watch around the area. Zach, I'm going to let you go first here because you and I got to see this player play last week in the Star, in the Ford Center against Independence, but I really like what you have in store from this SMU commit. Pony up, baby.
Yeah, so I'm going with cornerback Brandon Crossley, who's really kind of a do-it-all player for Little Elm. I mean, this guy is a defensive stud. He can play inside, outside at corner, real cerebral kind of player. He's got great ball skills, but he can also play wide receiver, lines up in the slot, inside, outside. He's the best kick returner for Little Elm. So, I mean, he is without a doubt their best athlete. He was very impressive last week when we got to see him against Frisco Independence. And guys, I kind of teased this a little bit in our pre-show. He reminds me a lot of a Chris Gamble from Ohio State, early 2000s. Chris Gamble had a really good career in the NFL for the Carolina Panthers. But he's a guy that was so good at both offense and defense. He started both ways at Ohio State. Brandon Crossley is one of those dudes that I could see playing both ways at SMU.
Wow.
He's a guy that, I mean, he's probably the best DB recruit that they've got outside of Jonathan McGill. And offensively, man, he's going to have to be an impact tonight. They play a very winnable game against Frisco Heritage at home tonight. They're still in the playoff hunt. They've got to win to have a chance. But this dude, just natural ball skills, flows to the football. He's smooth, and he looks like a D1 player. Like, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he just has it extremely fast. And I think his ability to play receiver and just those natural hands help him to play DB. I mean, this is a guy you could probably play him at safety if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. He's got a ton of position flex. Tackling might be the one area for him that you might want to say, all right, we need some improvement here.
Sounds like a corner then, maybe more of a corner.
Yeah, I mean, the dude is just an all-around stud athlete, reigning 14-5A defensive utility player of the year as a junior, and a utility player is the perfect word for this young man because he can do it all.
Yeah, he was really impressive last week. He was all over the field and actually gave Little Elm a little bit of a chance to win that game late, basically by himself.
I mean, they just got to get the ball in his hands, and the dude is all of a sudden up the field in a blink.
Yeah, so SMU is going to get Crossley. They're going to get McGill.
They're going to get McDaniel. They've got themselves.
I like that.
They've got some pretty good
through recruiting class.
Pony Express 3000, huh?
Well, if SMU's doing the right thing, then they're looking for those diamonds, right, Heckma?
Shine bright like a diamond.
Yes.
Looking for those diamonds. I think you have a diamond today. How about the running back from Flower Mound? Tell me a little bit about this uncommitted diamond that you have.
Listen, guys, I got a guy, Pierce Hudgens, 6'1", 200 pounds, and this guy is a gem, literally a gem. I call him White Lightning because the boy is that fast. He can go from 0 to 100 real quick, okay? Was doing some research on this kid, found out he is a track guy. Makes sense now why he's so fast, because he's a 100 and 200-yard qualifier for his Flower Mound team.
Jeez, guys, 200 pounds.
200 pounds. And look, man, I've done some research on this kid, and I'm telling you, mostly everyone in this district is saying, look, as though he is fast, 6-7 yards a carry, but he is hard to bring down also. Tough kid. I'm telling you, he's going to commit. He's going to go somewhere, and someone is going to have themselves a heck of an athlete because not only does he run the ball very well, he can also catch it.
And when you got speed like that, I mean, you can't teach speed. When you combine that being 6'1", 200 pounds, we see a lot of running backs that are really fast.
Exactly.
Most of them don't pack the 200-pound, 6'1" frame.
And he's built for it. You got to see this kid in real time. He is built for it. He's tough, and he does everything in between the tackles as well.
You look at him, and it's surprising how fast he is. Because so I watched last week's game against Flower Mound Marcus, and heck, I mean, I know you've seen a lot of him as well. So feel free to jump in here if you think I'm wrong. Correct me. But to me, it's I know you will. It seems like he's a very patient runner. And at that 6'1" frame, he does a great job at getting low behind his blockers, kind of wait. Kind of a similar running style to DeMarco Murray almost. You know, DeMarco Murray would kind of wait, just kind of maybe even have a hand behind an offensive lineman, and then he, boom, hits the hole as soon as it opens up.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about guys with speed that you cannot teach them to do, and that's have patience. Because a guy that's fast and he knows he's fast, the first thing he wants to do is take off. He doesn't want to wait on the play to develop.
Wants to hit the home run every time.
Absolutely. That's not this kid. He has learned how to play behind his pads. Again, playing with that good leverage, getting low. He doesn't, even though he's 6'1", he doesn't run tall. Mm-hmm. So when he comes through the hole, he's not standing straight up. Pierce Hudgens is a dog. I love him, and I know this kid is going to go big.
And he's the kind of guy that's willing to take the 2-3 yard games, grind it out, and then you know he's going to bust one at some point.
That's important. You have to have those types of guys on your team to win. And Flower Mound, of course, winning for the first time since 2010, getting in the playoffs for the first time since 2010. It's because of guys like that.
And he's only a junior.
Yeah.
Blake Shaw, I mean,
Flower Mound's looking good.
Yeah, they're set up nicely for next year, too.
Well, Eric, I know you've got a guy who's also uncommitted, but has offers from really everywhere in the country.
He's got quite a few offers, and he is DeAndre Dansby. This guy. Now we've had a lot of studs this year. My players to watch. I've loved all of them. Each and every week they have a special place in my heart. This guy, I think, is my favorite guy of the season. When you watch this guy play, there's just something special, something fun about this guy for South Oak Cliff. He plays for a fantastic defense, and he's one of the key reasons why. At 5'11", 185 pounds, his size does not wow you. But you know what does wow you? his physicality, his burst, his high IQ, his quick trigger. He's sort of see ball, get ball. You will never run a screen to his side, a bubble screen to his side. They list him as a corner, but for South Oak Cliff, this dude plays safety. He plays like that nickel corner. He plays in the box. He plays 2 deep safety. He's incredibly versatile on the defensive side of the ball, and it's because he has the high IQ, and we talk about some of the teams that have offered him. Talking about Navy, Notre Dame, Harvard. These are Boston College. A lot of these schools, I mean, you got to be a smart kid for them to even pay attention to you. This dude shows his IQ, which he clearly has off the field, definitely on the field, and he's small, but he comes up and just smacks you, man. I mean, the dude is all over the place. He reminds me of, in terms of versatility, he reminds me of a Minkah Fitzpatrick, a Tyrann Mathieu, kind of playing all over the back end of the defense. But the dude, I'm telling you, the dude is an absolute stud on an absolutely great defense as well. Very, very good defense, but this is the most versatile guy on their defense. He can return punts. The guy in the open field does not miss a tackle. He hits really, really hard, but he also, if it's open field, he's going to get you down. I mean, there's just no way around it. He's really, really scrappy. I'm telling you, really my favorite guy of the season so far, and one of the funnest guys I've seen play. I would recommend it to anybody. And he's playing on a defense right now that is playing dominant. And he, in my opinion, when you watch that defense, he's one of the big reasons why. Because when you have the versatility like that, you can play that nickel corner. That's one of the toughest spots to play. Yeah. Covering that slot is really hard. He's got the zone. He's got the man. He can do it all. I mean, the guy's just incredible. I love this dude. DeAndre Dansby, you're my guy.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable all year, and so is South Oak Cliff. And we'll talk about South Oak Cliff a little bit here in just a moment. But those are the players to watch for Week 10. Guys, let's pick some games. Time to go to prediction.
My time to shine. I mean, this is really where I dominate the show.
I found last week's prediction games, and I went through and I looked at it. Guys, we've got a tie up at the top.
We do have a tie.
Me and Heckma?
There's no way.
I think it's
and
possible.
Zach are tied up. Heckma had a bad week.
No, I did.
You had a
lost
bad
3
week,
games.
Heckma. You lost 3 games.
Well, I've had a bad
Heckma.
season, Heckma, so I don't feel bad for
And now, Zach, you lost 2 games.
I lost 2 games.
You got the one you needed.
I got the one I needed. Which one was it? Do we know?
I don't have it in front of me. I have it somewhere.
That's the mystery. The Scooby-Doo mystery is the fact that he can't find the one that you lost, and therefore
I have it in my backpack.
We have a break from 7 to 9 now. Instead of scurrying over to Sushi Marquee, why don't you find it, Heckma?
All right, guys, we've got to talk about this. Tied up. I'm 1 game above Eric, and I'm 4 games behind you guys. So I've got a little bit of work to do. Guys, let's start with Abilene and Euless Trinity. This is a Euless Trinity team that we looked at earlier in the season and said, hey, state championship contender. They lost to Haltom, who's been the darling of Whataburger Friday Night Stars, but a big 3-6A matchup. Eric, who you got?
Oh, I got Trinity all the way. Abilene's only putting up 20 points a game, 118 yards of offense per game. I think Trinity will probably run for 118 yards in the first half.
Wow. Okay.
I'm on board with the Trojans. Far drive for Abilene. They've lost 3 in a row, and they've lost it to the best teams in the district. Outside of Haltom, Trinity is the second best team.
All right, Heckma.
Not going to make that mistake. You know who I'm going with, the Trojans.
Oh, I thought you were about to switch and go to Abilene.
No, the Trinity Trojans. It's not the same Abilene Eagle team this year. They're not quite as good.
Yeah, they're not quite as good, and they struggle on that offensive side. I think Trinity wins this one big. Okay, Arlington Bowie and Arlington Lamar. This is a crosstown rivalry. We talked to Mallory Hartley earlier, who was at the Arlington game last night. She kind of chalked this up as a win for Lamar automatically. I'm not so sure because Bowie's a good football team, but Lamar can put up some points. Heckma, we'll start with you.
I'm going Lamar. It's, going Lamar.
All righty.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for me. Eric, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, well, my boy Jack Dawson at quarterback.
I know you love Jack Dawson.
I mean, come on.
Is it just the name or just because he's also an incredible quarterback?
The name.
It's the name, and then it's because he's also incredible. 50 points a game. That offense is just going to be too good. But I'm with you, Kyle. This is gonna come down to the wire. This is not a gimme win for Lamar by any means.
I don't think so either, and I'm going to go before Zach because I know you kind of want to hold on this.
He's just really wishy-washy.
I'm going to go with Lamar, but I think it's going to be close. I think this is a good game. I think Lamar wins this game, but I think it's because of Dawson at quarterback.
Pick him.
Yeah, man, this one is tough. Lamar is offensively is so good with Jordan Williams at running back and Jack Dawson. I just
feel a butt coming, boys.
Bowie's kind of been my team. Like, if you go back to week 1, I've just had a soft spot for Arlington Bowie. I like their defense. I love Malcolm Mays. Deontay Prevost at running back. I think Bowie finds a way to get it done, man. I think Bowie shocks the world. And I don't really want it to happen because I want that Arlington-Lamar showdown next week.
Right.
But my gut's saying I think Bowie might shock some people tonight. I'm going to go with Bowie. Why not? I'll take the flyer.
He definitely did it. That's impressive. And I'm glad you stuck with it. I'm glad you stuck with it. So 3 across the board, and then Zach all by himself picking Bowie. How about Corsicana and Ennis, boys? A little bit of a down south battle, just a little bit south of the Metroplex. Corsicana's been really good this year, but they get Ennis on the road. Ennis, is there any way that Ennis can pull this one out at Lions Stadium, guys?
I lean towards no. They've only scored more than 30 points twice this season. And Corsicana, 37 points a game. And their quarterback, Blake Hoffman, this dude, dual threat. 2,000 yards combined rushing and passing, 19 touchdowns total. That's just too much, man. Ennis is probably in trouble tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Corsicana, top seed in the district. They've won 8 straight since dropping their season opener. You talked about their offense, but for Ennis, give them some credit because they had a rough start to the season to still be in the playoff hunt with Dylan Santos at quarterback. James Harris is an awesome runner, but I think Corsicana is just a better football team.
Yeah, no, Corsicana, guys, just plain and simple.
Short and sweet for Heck.
Great analysis.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game, and I'm going to go with Ennis.
I love it.
Upset pick at home. I think Ennis is going to win this game over Corsicana. Yes, I think they're going to beat Corsicana and the Tigers today. Lions over Tigers. It's going to happen. Look at it. Watch it happen. I think Ennis is going to win this game. All right, this is a fun one. Lancaster and Highland Park. We looked at the band and the uniforms for Lancaster. This is a team that's trying to win in Highlander Stadium against the Scots for the first time in, 22 years, Zach?
Yeah, 20 years.
It has been absolutely way too long.
A Texas school. They did lose to an out-of-state school.
Some California or Florida school, something like that.
Texas school has not won at Highlander against Highland Park in 20 years.
Absolutely incredible. But is anyone willing to go against the Scots?
Yes.
Really?
What? I am, boys. This is my upset pick of the week.
You have lost your mind. No, you know what?
Trey Bradford,
wait a minute.
MVP of the game.
Wait a minute.
10 yards to carry, 8 touchdowns.
Hold on. Something's going on with Eric right now.
I don't know, but we need to save this tape. We need to play it back for overtime.
Lancaster's winning this football game in their icy whites. Their band, we saw them going crazy. Everybody's excited.
Yep.
Can HP run the ball? I say no. Lancaster, they haven't. I mean, that defense for Lancaster is the real deal. I know Highland Park's is as well. I don't think Highland Park can run the ball. I think if there's ever a time for that streak to end at Highlander, it's tonight. Give me Lancaster. Give me Trey Bradford for the MVP.
I'll tell you what. I disagree with you. I think you're looking at Highland Park and you're thinking to yourself, Highland Park doesn't have an elite running back on this football team. They don't have a number 1 guy that's really proven that he is the man. Benner Page is that dude currently right now. The guy that's going to have success running the football is Chandler Morris. Their quarterback. Chandler Morris is just as good a runner as he is a thrower with that golden arm. I think Chandler Morris, with his legs, gets the job done. That's the difference maker. HP doesn't lose at home. Eric, that's an L for you, brother.
That's right. I'm on the comeback trail here. I need this one.
I think Highland Park wins this game, and they win it big.
Look, I have been the person on the show that has been trying to pick against Highland Park every week, and I have been beaten into submission on this, and I'm not going to do it. Chandler Morris is ice cold. This kid is amazing. His receivers, I keep saying this week in and week out, every time we show a highlight of a Highland Park Scout receiver scoring a touchdown, he's by himself.
Well, it's always Corn. Yeah, it's always Corn.
Whatever. Somebody by themselves, and I am not going to do that. I'm going Highland Park.
This Lancaster bandwagon, I'll tell you, boys, it's pretty comfy over here. I got a lot of leg room.
Yeah,
you're
going to look like
spaces in here, man. The fridge is full. I mean, it's a good time over here. You guys are missing out.
All right, guys, how about Mansfield and Cedar Hill? Cedar Hill at home, of course, they've played really well over the past couple of weeks. Ever since that loss to Mansfield Summit, put up some points. Are they going to be able to put up points against Mansfield? I'm going to go with Cedar Hill and the Longhorns here, kind of the boring pick. But I'm taking Cedar Hill here for the win.
God bless Mansfield. They've played their little hearts out, but Cedar Hill is far superior tonight. Shane Lawrence and that Longhorn defense are going to absolutely slay the Tigers.
Amen. Cedar Hill. Shane the main.
Yeah, Shane. That's the only name I can think of, man. That's gonna. And I like Mansfield. I think the Tigers had a chance. They have a really solid team, but tonight not gonna do it.
Over by half.
Cedar Hill is definitely gonna win this game.
Yeah, definitely. So across the board, Cedar Hill, poor Mansfield. We definitely love Coach Daniel Mayberry, though. A great story there, of course. How about South Oak Cliff and Kimball? A battle for District 6 5A Division 2. This is a game.
Oak Cliff Super Bowl.
DeAndre Dansby, if he has anything to say about it, South Oak Cliff.
Is that your
gets
pick?
the dub here. That's my pick. They only allow 5 points a game. They've pitched 4 straight shutouts. Last 4 games.
Straight shutouts.
They haven't scored on this team in 4 weeks. Sorry, Kimball. Too much speed for South Oak Cliff.
Yeah, Sean Sims is another dual threat quarterback for Sauk. That defense is incredible. Offensively, they do have a pretty balanced attack, and they have not had a close game. You talk about their defense has pitched a shutout. They haven't played a competitive football game since a 31-21 win against Red Oak over a month ago. They've already clinched a playoff spot. This is for the district title. Kimball's a great story with Jamel McWilliams at quarterback and Contravius Smith at running back. They're in the playoffs as well with a win tonight, but I don't think they're going to get it. It's going to be a South Oak Cliff Golden Bear dance party at the end of this one.
There you go.
I tell you what, guys, Contravius Smith and those Kimball Knights, guys, 7-1. This is more than just a feel-good story for Kimball. And, Coach Jason Todd, good friend of the show, had him on earlier in the season. We'll have him on tonight.
If he wins, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to call us
he's
tonight.
He's going to win.
So I'm taking South Oak Cliff, man.
Okay, you said win out to where you're picking it off. It's going to be South Oak Cliff.
I got excited.
South Oak Cliff across the board. I thought for a second you might have gone with Kimball
pretty
there.
much picked Kimball, though.
I mean, we could definitely cut the audio and make it seem like he picked Kimball.
So Heckma went with Kimball. Nice.
So Heckma's on with Kimball. That's crazy.
Hey, that's bold, Heckma.
You're going against your childhood friend.
Oh, man. Guys, we've got a lot of Friday to talk about, and we're finishing up with our first segment of Whataburger Friday Night Stars. Reminder, 9 o'clock. We'll be back on with the scoreboard sign of it. Friday Night Stars.
9.
Set it. We'll be live on Facebook, be live on Twitter, be live on not Instagram, but YouTube and Vimeo as well. But before we sign off here, I do want to give a quick update. This is a pregame report from Eaton as South Lake Carroll and Hazlitt Eaton prepare for battle. TJ McDaniels for the Dragons, Titus Swin for the Eaton Eagles. This is a monumental matchup, a fun game to look forward to. And Jackson Donovan is on the scene at Eaton High School. Jackson, what is this game going to be about? We're going to wait just a minute here on Jackson Donovan. But
Well, he's probably still trying to think like, man, did I forget to tell them about that hook and ladder?
I don't think so. All right, now I've gotten word we do have Jackson Donovan. Jackson, what's going on at Eaton, guys?
Live here at Northwest ISD Stadium in Justin, Texas, as the Eaton Eagles prepare to take on the South Lake Carroll Dragons. The Dragons come into this game averaging almost 40 points a game, have steamrolled all but one opponent in their district, Denton Guyer, which they ended up earlier in district play, won that game, an 8-game winning streak coming into this game. And so they will play the Eagles here in Justin. And the Eagles trying to play the spoiler role, as if they lose one of their last 2 games, they will all but be eliminated from district play, and so they will try to keep their hopes alive, whereas the Dragons trying to finish off the perfect season, like I said, an 8-game winning streak. If they can win tonight, I don't see next week being an issue for them, and so they will all but lock up the district championship. So look for them to come out firing early in this game, set the tone. If they can come out and win this one, it's going to be a district championship for the Dragons. And so I see this one being a pretty easy win for South Lake Carroll, but don't be surprised if the Eagles have a little bit of surprise up their sleeves after this one's all said and done.
At that district, in District 5-6A, Hazlitt Eaton is desperate. They need a win big.
Yeah.
And they've got to win against South Lake Carroll. But a lot of football left to be played throughout this weekend. Week 10 is here, boys. It's going to be a lot of excitement around the area.
So many juicy matchups to watch. A lot of playoff implications on the line. I can't wait to sit back, watch this thing unfold. Come back at 9 o'clock. We'll tell you all about it.
Birdville.
Yeah, you look at Eric's team there, baby. In the Icy Whites, he's picking Lancaster to win at Highland Park. Something the Scots have not done is lose at Highlander Stadium basically ever.
Come on,
There's
Arlington
Chandler
Bowie.
Morris. Ooh, Highland Park's wearing
Damn, they
the
look pretty
all
fly.
navy.
Yeah,
they look
damn.
good.
That's the reason right there Eric picked them.
That's it.
For the band?
Look at that.
I thought
How
Zach
can they
was the Battle of
lose?
the Band guy.
Eric's
Capes
coming
on like
around.
superheroes.
550.
Oh, man. Guys, we're excited to bring you Texas high school football. Enjoy the games from around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We'll be back at 9 o'clock on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Vimeo. Any way you can watch us, come back for all the scores, highlights, updates, and live action from Texas high school football. For Chris Bean, for Fred Garter, for Eric Giafalo, for Matt Kent, for Zach Wolchuk, and Heckma Harrison, I'm Kyle Yeomans. So long until 9 o'clock. We'll be back with more Texas high school football in a couple hours.